Hey guys, my name is Owen and this is your introduction to spoken Ybanag. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you guys know that I want to teach you Ybanag or Ybanag as spoken from a day-to-day use. So here you won't necessarily learn exact translations of things that we say in English. Say for example, if you meet somebody, we say hello, good morning. In Ybanag, it would be a totally different scenario. So stick with me, I'll explain a little bit better in the next couple of minutes. Ybanag is a language that is spoken in the northeastern region of Luzon Island in the Philippines. It's the basically provinces of Cagayan, Isabela, I believe Nueva Vizcaya, I'm not sure. All the area, it's a minority language, so it's not spoken by the majority of the people living there. Majority of people there can understand and speak Tagalog, English, and Ilocano. There are few left who actually speak Ybanag, and this is primarily the reason why I wanted to make a video about spoken Ybanag, so that there is some kind of preservation of the language in somewhere. To get started, most Ybanag speakers will probably greet you in whatever the majority language is in the area that they're living in. So for my example, I live in the United States. More than likely, another Ybanag speaker, before they find out you're Ybanag or that you can speak Ybanag, would probably greet you in English. And if not English, more than likely it's either Tagalog or Ilocano. Upon finding that out, then they'll probably ask you, Kunnasi ngana, which means to say, how are you, or how have you been? There's two ways to say that. So the first one is Kunnasi ngana, which means how have you been? And Kunnasi ka, which is how are you? The answer to that, if you don't want somebody to probe you or ask you some more questions, you just say Mappya na gapa. And then you would say Sikaw, which means I'm well, how about you? They'll probably answer Mappya gapa. Mappya means good, and gapa is a word that's hard to translate. So I'll do another. So in Ybanag, there's a couple other greetings that we use that is much more commonly used than one would say in English. And one of those is, have you eaten? And in asking that, it's a question that's not necessarily meant to be answered seriously. So if you haven't eaten, you can say you haven't eaten. No matter what, you'll still get asked that question. And if you have eaten, you'll always be asked that question. So have you eaten is Kiminakka ngana in Ybanag. So again, it's have you eaten is Kiminakka ngana. And to answer that, you can say yes or no. Yes is one, and then no is Awan. So if you say yes, you'll still be offered food. If you say no, you'll be offered food either way. So I wanted to add a little bit more to yes and no. When you say no by itself, it's Awan. Awan. But if you say no, I haven't eaten, you have to say arina paga kuminan. So you can't say awan na paga kuminan. Awan na paga kuminan does not make any sense. So if you're just saying no, say awan. If you're saying no, I have not eaten, you would say arina paga kuminan. Okay? And so that brings me to the next greeting or sentence that you would likely hear. And that would be Naggafuanannu, Naggafuanannu, or Naggafuanammu, which means to say, where are you coming from? Again, this you don't have to take this question so seriously. You can say, oh, Tatun laman, which means, oh, just around there, if you're just around the area. Or you can say, Mabbisita na laman, which means to say, I'm just visiting. So keep it to those two phrases, and then you won't have to be badgered on with other questions. So again, that statement is, where are you coming from, or where were you going? Is actually Naggafuananmu means where are you coming from? And to answer that, you would say Tatun laman, which means just there, just around there. Or you can say Mabbisita na laman, which means to say I'm just visiting you. And that should keep you out of trouble, for now at least. I think I'm going to keep it to just those couple of phrases. I don't want to get too in depth with it because that would be too much information to soak in. So let's review. The first thing is how are you, or how are you doing? That is Kunnasi ka ngana, or Kunnasi ka. Actually, you're less likely to hear Kunnasi ka. You would probably hear Kunnasi ka ngana more likely. And the answer to that is Mappya na, or Mappya na gapa. That means I'm doing well, I'm well. The next one is Kuminakka ngana, or Kiminakka, which means to say have you eaten? And you can say Awan, which means no, or paga kuminan, which means I haven't eaten yet. Or you can say Awan, meaning say yes. And then the next phrase to know would be Naggafuananmu, or Naggafuanannu, which means say where were you coming from, or where were you going? You can answer that with Tatun laman, which means just around there, or Mabbisita na laman, which means to say I'm just visiting you, or I'm just visiting. Okay, that's it for now. I'll make sure that I write down or give you a transcription down below so that you have something to look at. Thanks. And hey guys, just a quick reminder, if you liked the video, if you didn't like the video, if you want to learn more about Ybanag language or Ybanag culture, please don't forget to subscribe. Click that button. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave the messages down there somewhere. There. All right, I'll see you guys around. Bye.